everyone, this is Syntax, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make pop-up jump scares in Fortnite Creative. Let's get into it. First thing you want to do in making a pop-up jump scare is place a trigger down in the path a player is forced to walk while playing your map. So for me, it's in this little shack I built right here. For you, it could be wherever you want in a building. Just make sure a player is guaranteed to walk over it at some point in the map. Next thing you want to do is customize the trigger exactly how I have it right here. Go ahead to the all options, turn these both to any, and have it just be triggered by player. All these other options are going to be off. Activate on game phase none. Go ahead, time can trigger and transmit every X triggers, both set to 1. These both set to none, and have the trigger sound, trigger visual effects, and visible in-game off to disabled, and no. Go ahead and do not take damage while invisible, and then enable it on game start. And the only thing last is to go down to the bottom and when triggered, transmit on channel 1. Now, what you're going to do is build identical rooms, ideally somewhere else in the map where they won't see that second identical room or identical area. And what you're going to do is place your creature that you're going to be popping up in front of, or your whatever, you know. For this example, I'm using a bear sitting on a chair, but you can use a scarecrow, you can use whatever main themed horror villain you have in your map, or if it's not even a horror map, just whatever you want to have happen. Just set it up in that exact copy of the place you're copying over. Next thing you're going to want to do is put a teleporter down exactly where the location of our first trigger was. So for me, our trigger was right in the doorway, as you can see. So I'm going to put a teleporter in the exact spot that trigger was. Now, go ahead and customize the teleporter to have the first 2 things say none, the next 2 say all and never. Now, the next 4 things are going to say no, and you're going to have the player face in the teleporter direction, so when they run into that trigger, they're going to be facing whatever item is going to be scaring them. In this case, it's a bear on a chair for me, but like I said, it can be whatever you want. And have them teleport to this teleporter, be looked up with channels with the same trigger that we just went over. So in this case, mine's channel 1, but it doesn't matter what channel they're on as long as they're linked. Now, if all you're looking for is just have the item pop up in front of you, you can stop right here. You have just made how to make a pop-up jump scare, and that is perfectly fine. But for me, I want to have you actually return back to your initial state. So I want the thing that pops up in front of you to disappear. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Go ahead and place down a second trigger, and it's going to be basically set up the exact same as the first trigger, just with a couple minor differences. So like I said, set it up the exact same. The only differences is that this trigger is going to have a 1-second delay. Now, depending on the delay is going to be impacting how long you're staying in front of whatever creature you're being spawned in front of, or whatever item you're being spawned in front of. So in this case, I only want to be in front of the bear for 1 second, so I have it set to 1 second. But if you want to be there for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, change it according to the feel and play of your map. And then for this one, it's being triggered when receiving from channel 1, which is our first trigger in the doorway, and it is when triggered, transmit on channel 2. Now what this does is I actually have a teleporter set up in the exact same spot as the other teleporter, as you can see right here. And now this is actually set up the exact same way. The only difference is this is going to be teleport to when receiving from 2. So basically you're going to walk, hit this trigger. Once you hit that trigger, you're going to teleport to this teleporter, and at the same time, activate this a second later, and after a second has gone by, you're going to teleport back to your initial position, making it seem like it just popped up and disappeared, like nothing was actually ever there, and this is what it should look like if you've done it correctly. So, as you can see, I'm at my door. Obviously, you can't see the triggers and the teleporters in game, because that's how we set it, but I'll walk through, and boom, the bear pops up, and the bear disappears. So yeah, that's how that looks. Now, especially if this is a horror map you're wanting to use this for, I'd advise putting down a speaker and actually having some scary noises associated with that speaker. As you can see, I have Halloween Scare 1. I have it on very loud, and just a couple other things, but most importantly, I have it being activated from the same channel that our first trigger we placed down is on, and it should sound something like this. As you can see, you get a nice little spook there, and it pops up, and then it goes away, just like how it's supposed to work. So that is how you make pop-up jump scares in Fortnite Creative. I actually did a video on this a couple months ago, but it wasn't a solo video on just how to make pop-up jump scares. It was a whole bunch of things you can do with triggers, and I figured it'd be better just to have a solo video for people to reference off if they are wondering how on earth you make pop-up jump scares in Fortnite Creative. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you out, and yeah, this has been Syntax. Later.